Howdy, howdy. Would you like to play Wonders of the First on your computer, desktop, or laptop? Do you want to play with friends online? Do you want to test out a deck before you make an investment in buying the cards? Are you even sure if Wonders of the First is something you want to keep playing? There are a lot of different reasons to want to play on your computer, either by yourself or with friends. And in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how you can do that. I'm going to show you how to download the app that we play it in, as well as how to get the Wonders of the First workshop, that is the downloadable that lets you play the game, and then the basics on how to use the app, how to play the game in the app, as well as how to create your own decks using the cards. You have access to all the cards, you have access to basically all the assets of the game. And this app is played, the game is played in an app called Tabletop Simulator, and that's the first thing I'm going to show you is how to download that. So first I'm going to show you how to download the app and get the game on your computer, and I'm going to show you how to work the app, basically how to manipulate the cards and play a game of Wonders. Then I'm going to show you some of the more specific Wonders of the First things in the app, like tokens and different abilities that you can do, and then how to create your own decks inside the codex. I have a codex walkthrough on my channel. You can go find that. But how to create your own decks so you can start net decking or testing decks, or even possibly there's rumors that you'll be able to play the next expansion set, Call of the Stones. You'll be able to play the cards in the simulator before the physical cards actually release. So I think that's pretty cool. So in this video, I'm going to have it separated in 4 different parts. I'll have timestamps down below in the description, as well as links to all the websites and resources that I go to. And yeah, let's get into it. So first, I'm going to share with you how you can download the app Tabletop Simulator inside the Steam store. And if you are not a techie guy, if you're unsure of what all that means, just keep watching the video. I'm going to walk you through step by step how to do that. If you already know what that is, then again, go down to the timestamps and you can go to actually how to get the Wonders of the First workshop or how to actually play the game inside. But first, let's go to the Steam store. All right, so getting Wonders of the First on your desktop is really a 2-step process. Number one, you're going to need to download the app Tabletop Simulator, and I'm going to show you how to do that here. Now, if you've never used Steam before, I'm going to walk you through how to get your Steam set up and how to download Tabletop Simulator. And this is the only thing you're going to need to purchase to play Wonders of the First. So go to the Steam store. I'm online here. If you've never gotten it before, just do a Google search for Steam. Just click on that Welcome to Steam. The URL is store.steampowered.com. And if you haven't, create your account. You're going to need an account. It's 2025 plus. So everyone needs an account. So just create your account. It's free. And then you're going to need to search for Tabletop Simulator. You can do it on the website once you're signed in, or you can do it in the Steam app. I recommend you go ahead and just do it in the app. So once you create your account, if you need to install Steam, click on Install Steam, and then follow the instructions to download it on your PC or Mac. This is both for PC and Mac. I'm recording this on a Mac because I'm a Apple zombie. Hate me for it. I don't care. All right. But once you download the Steam app, it'll look like this. Let me go ahead and just... I don't want to get you confused here. Let me change that background there. Okay, so now we're in the Steam app, and you want to search for the game Wonders of the First. And by the way, Steam app is a, questionable business practices as with any business these days, but it's a pretty good app. You can download any video game, but you can buy any video game and then download it to your computer. And then they have what's called the Steam Summer Sale, which we'll talk a little bit now. It does end at the time of this recording, unfortunately. But for example, you can get Hogwarts Legacy, a $60 game, for $15 right now. So every once in a while, they'll have sales. They'll have Black Friday sales, summer sales. And the good thing is Tabletop Simulator was actually on sale during the summer sale. So you're going to go up to the top right, and you're going to search for Tabletop Simulator. And now, this is normally a $20 game. It's normally $19.99. It is listed right here in this video for $9.99 because of the Steam Summer Sale. So please don't get upset that you're like, oh, I thought it was $10. It's actually $20. I'm telling you right now, it's $20 normally. It's just $10 at the time of this recording. I will tell you this, though. I really enjoy this app. I play it a lot. I've got a lot of hours under my belt. I started playing during COVID, and I kept playing. I've made tons of great friends with this app, and now I'm making even more because I'm playing Wonders of the First with friends. So it is a $20 app, but I'm going to tell you right now, it is well worth it. And what it is essentially, like it's described as, a tabletop simulator. It is a virtual table with virtual assets that you can manipulate with your mouse and keyboard and play tabletop games. For example, you can play chess with what feels like real pieces. This isn't like you're just moving around graphics on the screen, you actually can throw a piece, tilt a piece, knock a piece off, just like anything you would do at a real table you can do in this game. And I'll show you more of what that looks like. But you can see here, you can grab dominoes and actually stack them on top of each other and create weird amalgams of games if you want. It's a lot of fun. So this is the only purchase you'll need to make. If you don't want to spend $20, I'll tell you this, it is on sale quite often throughout the year. You'll see it on sale for $10 for summer sale, for Black Friday sale. There's a sale they run in February. I think they call it like the winter sale or something like that. So if you want to wait, you can pay $10 for it and get it. Excuse me. You can wait and get it for $10 later. But honestly, I think it's worth $20. I actually think it's more. Don't tell them. But I actually think it's more. I'd pay $50, $60 for this game. Now, it does come with some basic games when you download it. It doesn't come with Wonders of the First. Those are called workshops, which I'll walk you through here now. So go ahead and purchase purchase Tabletop Simulator from the Steam store. If you want to do it online, you can also do it online. The interface is basically the same. Search Tabletop Simulator, and you'll pull it up and you'll purchase it, and that will download it to your library. All right. So once you download Tabletop Simulator, once you purchase Tabletop Simulator, you can download it by going to your library, go to your home, and you'll see it. If it's your only game, it'll be here, or you'll see all your games if you are on Steam. Click on Tabletop Simulator, and this will bring up the little portal here where you can see all your stats, your friends, different things that different games people are playing. And like I said, once you get Tabletop Simulator, go ahead and open it up and take a look inside. I'll go to the main menu here. And once you're on the main menu, go ahead and create a game. So just a quick walkthrough of Tabletop Simulator and what that looks like. Click on Create and just create a single player game. All right. Now you won't see all this stuff in the bottom. This is just because I've been playing for a while. But you'll see games at the top row. And let's just pick a game like Solitaire. That will bring up a virtual table and a virtual game of Solitaire. And I'll walk you through how to do this. But yeah, you can actually play Solitaire. So I can put this 9 on this 10. And I can flip this card over. And now it's a 10. I can put this on the jack. Okay. And now I will flip the card over. 4. Don't want to do anything. I can put the ace up here. And you'll notice it's not pre-programmed like an app. You can actually do whatever you want. Say I want the aces to be on the bottom. I can put them down here. Right? And the 2 I can put over here. And let's say I'm playing a weird game where I can put any card in any space. Well, I can grab these cards and I can put them in this space because there are no rules. There are no pre-designed algorithms or rules are necessary. I can play the game however I want, right? I can put this 4 on this jack because it really is like you're playing at a table with these cards, okay? So that's what Tabletop Simulator is. It is essentially a virtual tabletop, but there are no limits. If I want to play backgammon, I love to play backgammon with my mom, right? So I'm going to roll these dice. And I got a 5-4. So my opening move, I'm going to go 5 down. I'm going to start building down here. So I'm going to go 5 and 4. All right. And then my mom takes her turn, et cetera, et cetera. So this is really like you're playing games. You can even grab the dice and roll it yourself. And it goes on top of a chip. I mean, this is like a 3D virtual tabletop. Okay, so that's a little bit about Tabletop Simulator. Let's actually go into how to download now Wonders of the First so you can play Wonders of the First on Tabletop Simulator. All right, so let's actually download Wonders of the First because you'll notice when you first open Tabletop Simulator, Wonders of the First is not one of the games on there. The way we do that is we use something called workshops within the Steam app. Okay, workshops are basically community created. I don't want to call them mods, but they are a lot of them are community created. Some of them are just the publishers, but it's just the way that you can add on games to Tabletop Simulator. So you can think about it like mods, think about it like add-ons, but these are called workshops. So what you do is go back to your library, go to Tabletop Simulator. Doesn't have to be running, it's just running in the background for this video, and then go to workshop. Okay, here's where you can download a whole bunch of games. Now, don't get lost in the woods here like I do, but you can actually play all kinds of games. In fact, there's a new Helldivers game that's coming out, and so it looks like we can play with some Helldivers miniatures here. Whole lot of things, but let's stay on focus, Texan. And we're going to search for the Wonders of the First. So inside of Workshop, you have to be inside of Tabletop Simulator. If you just search the store, you're not going to find anything. If I just search Wonders of the First, it's not going to pull up anything. Okay, you have to go to your Tabletop Simulator, go to Workshops, and then inside of here, search Tabletop Simulator. We're going to search Wonders of the First. Okay, this is where you can find the workshops or the add-ons to add Wonders of the First to your Tabletop Simulator. There are a few in here, the one you want is Wonders of the First Official. Nothing wrong with downloading the other ones, okay? I just haven't downloaded them. I don't know what they do. But what you want is Wonders of the First Official. This is actually created by the Wonders team. So you can click on that, and then you'll see subscribe down here. I am obviously subscribed, so it just says subscribed, but you want to click subscribe. There's nothing additional you'll be downloading at this point. You'll actually download it once you launch Tabletop Simulator. Okay, so now that you've added that workshop, go back to your Tabletop Simulator and launch it. You might have to restart it. I'm not entirely sure. And once you come into the home screen, now when you create a game, we'll create a single player game, you'll notice that you have a workshop option here, and you'll see Wonders of the First Official as an option. In fact, any workshops that you subscribe to will show up here. So I have lots of different workshops, and if you click on workshop, you can see all the ones that I have, all the games that I've played over the years. But we're going to play Wonders of the First. Now, once you click on this and say load, this is when it will download the workshop to your computer. So the first time you open it, depending on your internet speed, it's going to take a few minutes because it's going to download all the different cards, all the different items, tokens, etc. For me, it took about 15-20 seconds. But of course, if you're on a slower computer or slower internet, it will take longer. So you'll see a little countdown bar at the top that will say downloading assets and give you a countdown or like a ratio of what's downloaded versus what's remaining to be downloaded. Now, once you have the workshop here, it downloads all the assets. Now you can play the game offline. I should mention that. The first time you play, you need to be online. After that, you need to be offline. The other cool thing about workshops is if you just jump in a game with someone, you don't have to have the workshop downloaded in order to play with them if they have the workshop downloaded. So for example, I have the workshop downloaded. If you just jump in a Tabletop Simulator with me and join my game, it will automatically download the workshop to your computer so you have it for access later on. Now I think it's that specific state, so you don't actually have the workshop, but you have my version of the workshop. So any changes that I made, you're gonna have my changes. That's both good and bad, because if I make changes and you want it, you can just download my version, but you won't actually have the official Wonders version, you'll have my version. Does that make sense? So if you want to play offline, just make sure you're online the first time, and then you can play online. So now you've got the workshop. So anytime you start up, you can play this game and launch into it. Just know that you're launching into the workshop. So now that I've shown you how to download the workshop, get it subscribed, and get it on your computer, now we can play Wonders of the First. So when someone says, hey, do you want to play Wonders of the First online? We're not talking about an app or a website. We're talking about in Tabletop Simulator, the workshop Wonders of the First. Now we can actually go into how to play Wonders of the First. I'm going to show you two things first. Number one, how to get started, how to do some basic movements with the cards, and then we're going to go into like specifically playing Wonders of the First and the Wonders specific controls and everything that you need to know. All right, so now that we're in the Wonders workshop and into the game inside of Tabletop Simulator, let's actually go through some of the basics on how to manipulate your way around the board and the different objects on the board and how to view Tabletop Simulator as a whole. Then after we get kind of familiar with the controls, we'll go into actually how to play a game. So you've got your mouse and you can kind of move around and you'll see it become a hand, and that's essentially the best way to view controlling the tabletop. Is your hand is your literal hand. If you pick something up, you can then manipulate it with your hand. So for example, I can grab this dice and I can move it around, and I'm holding it with my mouse button held down, my left mouse button held down, and I can move it around. And if I move my hand and let go of the mouse button, it's like I'm throwing the dice, and you can see here it actually moves around. All right, so that's the basic thing. So think about anything you can do, almost anything you can do in person, you can pretty much do in Tabletop Simulator. It is really simulating real life. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna drop it. I can go here and throw it into other items, and it will do that. So you gotta be, it's a lot of fun to play with, but also just be wary that everything interacts with everything else. So things can get pretty hairy real quick. All right, let's go over how to move around. So you're going to use what's known as the WASD keys on your keyboard. If you've never played a video game before, don't worry, I got you. Look on the keyboard. You've got WASD together in a clump, and they're kind of laid out like arrows. W is up, S is down, A is left, D is right. That's how you're going to move around the board. You're going to kind of hover around the board. S to down, A to left, D to right, W up. Okay. Now, if you want to zoom in, for example, I can't really see the numbers on here because I got old man eyes. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to use the scroll wheel, or I'm on a trackpad, so I'm going to 2-finger scroll, and I'm going to scroll in. And you can go in deep to detail. You can see the ridges and the shadowing on these dice. It's pretty cool. And if I want to zoom out, I'm just going to scroll and zoom out, and I can get kind of a overall view. Now, if I want to rotate myself around, like walking around the table, that's where I'm going to use my arrow keys. I'm going to move my arrow keys, and I can move around. And same thing, I can look down at the table, kind of like I'm getting down, making my pool shot, you know, taking a look at the different angles. So, for example, if I wanted to look at the dice, I can come in here, I can zoom in, and you can see here that these are actual 3D models. That's how they interact with each other. And if I throw the dice, if I throw it softly, you know, it doesn't really go anywhere. Or if I throw it hard, it really hits those other dice. So all of these here, it's just like playing a real game. You can kind of get in deep. And if you're brand new and you're playing with someone, all you got to do, guys, especially if you're playing with the Wonders community, we are super patient. And, you know, granted, there are some jerks out there. I haven't met any, thankfully. So just let us know. Hey, you know, this is my first time. I'm still getting used to the board. And we'll be patient with you. And we'll let you know what you might need to click or move around. Totally understandable if you aren't familiar with how to move around. So you may see someone do something crazy, like say I want to look at this rule book, and you'll see that I'm just going to quickly kind of orient myself right here, and I did that really fast. But you know, not everyone's going to move that fast, and that's okay. Don't be ashamed about that. Everyone had their first time. Okay. So now let's get into actually manipulating the decks. And for that, I'm going to use my starter decks over here. These come preloaded in the workshop. And I highly recommend, if you're new to the game or if you're new to Tabletop Simulator, go ahead and use one of these decks to get your feet wet. I'm going to use the Winds of Fortune, the starter player deck. And there's a couple ways you can get it. This is kind of like a fun little like opening the pack moment for Tabletop Simulator. What you're going to do is you're going to hover over it, and you'll see your hand kind of have a red button on top. You're just going to double click, and that's going to open the box. So again, double click to close the box, double click to open the box. And then you're going to click and drag. Throughout this tutorial, you'll hear me say click and drag. If you click and hold, it'll actually pick up the whole item, and you'll start moving around the box. Okay? We don't want the box, we want what's in the box. So I'm going to click and drag. So I'm going to quickly click and then move my hand away. And you'll notice it takes the deck out of the box. Okay, I don't know how to put it back in. Oh, there you go. Takes the deck out of the box. And now I've got a full deck. If I hover over it, I got a full deck of 50 cards. Now, if you ever have any questions about manipulating objects in the game, you can always right click, and you'll have all the options of things that you can do. So for example, you can right click and shuffle, you can right click and cut, you can split the deck, you can do all kinds of things. You can deal it around to players, you can search the deck. Most likely, if you're right clicking, what you're going to do is you're going to search, and you can see all the cards inside. Or you're going to right click and toggle, and you can toggle different abilities here within the object. And you'll notice here, as I hover my deck over the mat, you'll notice a little shadow. That's indicating a drop point. They're called snap lines, I believe, where the deck is going to automatically snap into place. And this goes for any card object. So if I drop it here off to the side, it's going to automatically place it in that snap slot. And you'll notice if you play Wonders, and by the way, throughout this tutorial, I'm assuming you already know how to play the game of Wonders. You'll notice here that there's only really 2 snap spots inside a realm, not nearly enough. So what a lot of players will do is we'll start by first unsnapping the deck. So we'll go to toggles, right click on the deck, toggles, and then unsnap. Okay. And I believe this does it with all the cards. So if now I can place the deck anywhere. It's not going to follow those pre-built snap points, pre-coded, so to speak. So now I can center it here, and I can put as many cards in realm 1 as I want. Okay. So to grab a card off the deck, you're going to click and drag. If I click and hold, it's going to pick up the whole deck. But if I click and drag, it will just grab one card off the top. So again, anytime you're dealing with decks, click and drag or stacks of cards, click and hold will pick up the whole object. If you click and drag, it will manipulate one item at a time. Same thing if I do a stack. Let's grab 5 cards off the stack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll notice it's automatically stacking the cards on top of each other. I now have a deck of 45 and a stack of 5. So just be wary that if you put cards on top of each other, they will automatically stack. Now, obviously, Texan, how do I see what the cards are? If I grab a card from the top, all right, I can hover over it and I can press F, and that will flip the card. And that's true for any object. If I press F, it will flip it. For example, let's look at this number 1 dice. We know on a 6-sided die, the opposite sides will add up to 7. So I know on the opposite side of this 1 is a 6. So I can press F, and it will flip the die to 6. Same thing if I set it to 3, which I can do by just clicking the 3 button. It will automatically set the number to 3. If I press F, it will flip it to 4. Not really useful for die, but you can see if I hover over this card, press F, it'll flip it to show the card. Same thing, the back. And if it's a deck or a stack of cards, it'll flip the whole stack if I hover over it. So there we go. I can see I've got Kaylin Wind Whisperer on the bottom. I can also do this while holding the card. So sometimes if I want to peek at the top, I'll click and drag off. And while I'm holding the card, I will flip it over. I'm still holding it. So sometimes if I want to peek at a card, I'll show you how to search, look at the top card of your deck when we get into actual like playing the game. I will do a quick FF so I can look at what that card is and put it back or bury it. So as with anything, a great thing to do is just to go ahead and get in here and start clicking around, start moving things around and moving cards around so I can start stacking things. Now, obviously you have to shuffle and draw. So let's start a game of wonders here. And let's actually like go through the motions of playing a game of wonders, and I'll walk you through some of the specific items when it comes specific things that you can do, like drawing, bringing out the stones, tapping, what all that looks like. All right, so every Great Wonders game is going to start the same way. You're going to draw your hand and you're going to mulligan. So let's talk about how to do that. So we got our deck here. And to recap, let's say I don't want the Winds of Fortune deck. Let's say I want the Air Superiority deck. I'm going to hover over where the red dot comes up, double click, and then I'm going to click and drag to bring the deck out. There we go. Now, we obviously don't want to use the deck as is. We want to shuffle it first. So we're going to hit R to shuffle. And you could also right-click shuffle. If you want, you can cut the deck, right? And that cuts the deck into 2 different stacks here. And you can kind of, cut it there. All right. You'll notice that I rotated it. It did rotate. I forgot it rotates when I cut the deck. So let me go over that real quick. For rotating, you're going to use Q and E, right? And that will rotate the deck. And when you first open up Tabletop Simulator, you may notice the rotations are real short hops like this. And that is because of the rotation degree preset. And that's up here on the right. So you'll notice this number here with the degrees. You want to change that to either 45 or 90. If you do 90, then every time you click the Q and E button, it will rotate 90 degrees, just like that. I'm going to click it once, and it's going to rotate once. I personally prefer mine at 45, just because sometimes I like to put cards crooked, so I remember at the beginning of the round do something. So for me, when I play quarter tapped, so to speak, or this 45 degree means it's not tapped, and I want to remember something. Other people like to use tokens. That's just me personally. Okay, anyways. So you want to start with the shuffle. So you can press R to shuffle, or you can right-click shuffle. And you'll notice some people just do this, like we'll just tap R a bunch of times. It's just a personal thing. One tap of the R button, one shuffle is good. All right, now you want to draw. You'll notice here your hand, no matter which side of the board you're sitting at, your hand is going to be right here on the edge of the table. The easiest way to draw cards is to go ahead and type the number of cards that you want to draw. So if I want to draw 7 cards, I'm going to hover over the deck and press 7, and that's going to automatically draw 7 cards. And then anytime you want to draw, you can just press 1, and that will draw 1 card. You can also right-click draw, but that's the slow way of doing it. All right. Now, at the beginning of the game, you can mulligan, and obviously I have no lands here, so I want to mulligan. And I'm going to mulligan some of my more expensive cards or some cards that I know I have multiple duplicates of. And in this case, I know I've got multiple Arcane Grasps in this deck, so I'm going to pull this one out to mulligan. If this was the only card that I want to mulligan, a real simple way to do that is I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to flip it over. And that's just a habit, by the way. You saw me do that. I'm going to pull it out, and as I'm pulling it out, I'm going to press F to flip so my opponent doesn't see it. If there's a better way to do that, let me know. But this is how I do it. And again, I'm not a pro at this. I'm just experienced and just sharing what I know. So I'm going to pull it out and press F to flip it. And if this was the only card I want to mulligan, a simple way to put this at the bottom of your deck or any single card is to press and control T. Just remember T for tabletop, and that will push it down to the tabletop. All right. And a good way to see that also is you'll notice as I hover this card, it will hover over the different items. But if I hover it over this dice, for example, and press and hold T, you'll see here it kind of, let me zoom in here, kind of puts it on top of that. So, fun little thing here. You can play with the 3D stuff, 3D abilities of the cards here. But anyways, I'm going to press and hold T, and I'm going to slide it under the deck. And it automatically throws it under the deck. You'll see that Arcane Grasp is under the deck. Now, I've only been able to do this with one card. I don't know if you can do it with multiple cards. So let's go ahead and mulligan the Wind Reaver, and let's mulligan the Sylvari because we have multiples. I'm going to stack them on top of each other. So now I have a stack of 2 cards. And if I do the T, right, I grab these as an object. It's both cards together. And if I do the T, it puts them on the table, but then I can't bury them. I can't do the automatic burying. So I have to put them on the table, grab the deck, put it on top. All right. And you'll notice it's snapping. So I'm going to unsnap it because I grabbed the new deck. So I want to unsnap it. Toggles and then snap. All right. There we go. Now I can move this around. And since I'm mulligan 3, I can draw 3. So I'm going to hover over the deck and press 3, and that will draw 3 cards. Unfortunately, I only got a land, but we'll have to play with what we play. All right. Now we need to figure out who goes first. At this point, you'll do usually a roll off. So either your opponent will call odd or even, and you'll roll a dice. So let's say my opponent calls even. I roll a dice, and it is a 20. You can see here. If you ever have a question about what number is on the die, you can hover over it, and you'll see it says 20. It is a 20. So my opponent will go first. Sometimes you'll have a roll-off. Well, you'll both roll dice, or both roll a die, and whoever gets the higher number wins. To do that, you can literally grab the die and throw it, right? And so I got an 18. Or you can hover over a die. Let's say my opponent here, and this is what I do. Hover over it, and then press the R button, like shuffle. That's going to roll the dice. And here I got a 7. So I will go first. And for the purpose of this, right, we'll just imagine there's someone here. We'll go over how to start an online match later. We've got this first player token that comes with the workshop, and I'm going to throw it right here. All right. So this shows that I'm the first player. If my opponent battles and wins, I'm going to take this and give it to them, signifying that they win. If I battle and win, sometimes my opponent will forget to give this to me. I'm just going to politely reach over and say, hey, let me grab this. And now I'm the first player. Some people will keep the first player token over here. Some people will place it on the realm itself right here. So we know that if there's a stone here, and I'll show you how to get the stone in a second. If there's a stone here and the first player token is here, that means the last battle was in the second realm. And since I have the stone, I was the last one to win. Therefore, I should be the next person to go first. It's easier said than done trying to explain it. I hope that made sense. But me personally, I like to keep it here. All right, so we've got the first player decided. Now we need to go ahead and put the stone out on realm 1. So the stones come in this little disco ball shaped thing here. I don't know why they chose that. I guess it's supposed to be the first shattering. I don't know. It's cool. And I'm going to click and drag. And when I click and drag, a stone is going to come out. Boom. There's a stone. All right. If I want to put that stone back, I did a terrible job of that. I'm going to hover over and put the stone in. Okay. If I want to pull out a specific stone for some reason, as with any object that has multiple things inside of it, you can right click and say search, and I can see all of the stones. So for example, maybe I want the the diamond out first. So I can grab that and put that out on round 1. Make sure you click and drag the stones out. If you want to put a stone back, just hover over, drop it, and it'll go back in the bag. Just be careful because you can also put other things in the bag. Like I can put a dice in there. And now there's a dice in here. So if I keep taking stones out, eventually the dice will come out because it's inside the bag. There it is right there. All right. Also be careful. You want to click and drag the stones out because if you click and hold the bag, it will pick up the whole bag and it will start moving the bag around. And that's not a bad thing. You can easily put it back. It just gets confusing sometimes. And again, this is all practice. All right. So we've got the stone out and now we need to draw for turn. So I will hover over my deck and press 1 to draw 1 card. All right. And I'm going first, so I will go first. To take a card from your hand, put it out on the table. You'll take the card, click and hold it, and bring it out. All right. And so I'm going to play Wave Whisper Bay. Now, in Wonders, as you know, we have actions and energy. Every round, you get 3 actions, and then you get energy equal to the round, plus however many stones you have. We track these with these little counters here, indicated on the table, actions and energy. So it's automatically set for the first round. I have 3 actions. So I played my Wave Whisper Bay, so I'm going to say -1 action, and it goes to my opponent. I played Whirlpool Bay. All right. It goes to my opponent, and now they'll take their turn. Now it's my turn. I have 2 actions and 1 energy. All right. Now, at this point, you might be saying, like I'm questioning, how do I communicate with my opponent? Most of the time, you're going to be using voice chat. So if you're going to play with someone on the Discord, you'll either do voice chat over the DM private message system, or we love it when you play in the Discord's lobbies. Let me go ahead and pull that up here. Okay, here it is. So in the Discord, in the Wonders Discord, there are lobbies here in the Coliseum. And if you jump in here, you can voice chat with anyone on the call. And here you can see me in the call here. And someone can jump in and they can voice chat. The benefit of doing it in the Coliseum is anyone can jump in and join the conversation. You can actually stream your game. So I can click here to share your screen and stream the game so other people can watch. This is a great way to have a judge watch the game without them having to join the tabletop simulator. But if you want to just have it with both, with just you and the other person, just do it in a private chat. So that's usually how you're going to do voice chat. You could voice chat anywhere. I play backgammon with my mom. Let me find my tabletop simulator here. So I just call her up on the phone, just a good old-fashioned phone call. She logs in, I log in, we create the room. I'll explain how to do that later. And we play backgammon, but we're talking on the phone. Now, if you don't have voice chat, maybe you both know the game. I only recommend this if you both know the game really well and you don't really have to communicate. You can do type to chat inside of Tabletop Simulator. You can click on this little chat icon. You get a chat box, and you can say, type whatever. Your time, your turn. Your turn. All right. Tabletop Simulator also has voice chat. If I go to options, configuration, we go to the menu here on the top, configuration, and you can see controls, sound, right? You have voice chat options. You can set your mic always on. You can do push to talk, in which case there's a button that you select to make sure that it's not always listening. You have to turn it on to listen, or you can just disable. Most of the time it's disabled. But if you want, there is voice chat in here. I just never use it, so I'm not too familiar with it. But if you know how that works, you can do that. All right. So now let's say my opponent went. Now it's my turn. Okay. And I'm going to play Sylvari Oceanbreaker. Now he is 2 cost, but I have Thalwyn Link, so he is only going to cost 1. So I'm going to say 1 action, 1 energy, and I'm going to play Sylvari. Boom. There he goes. And play him there. Now my opponent goes, and he has a tap action, but I'm not going to use it. I'm going to say attack. So I'm going to tell my opponent I'm going to attack, use my action, and take the stone. All right. Then my opponent goes, and now I'm going to pass. They're going to pass. Now we go to round 2. So for round 2, we're going to put the second stone out. We're going to get our actions back. So I'm going to do 3 actions. It's round 2, so we get 2 energy, plus I own the stone, so I'm going to get 3 energy, and then we draw for turn. So I'm going to hover over my deck and press 1. All right. Now, let's say that I want to tap this. For some reason, I want to portal an enemy into another realm. So to tap it, I'm going to use E to tap it. You can also use Q to tap it the other way. Only crazy people do that. All right. So now it is turn 3. Let's say I want to tap this. And I forgot to mention, you'll notice that I'm bringing up a preview. I should have mentioned this earlier. If you press and hold the Alt key or the Option key on your computer, Option if you're on Mac, I think it's Alt on PC, you get a preview, a zoomed in version of the card. Yes, you can come in here and zoom into it and read, and some people will do that. I like to just use the Option key. And if it is too small, while you're holding the Option key, you can scroll up or down to zoom in or out. So you can actually have it take up like half the screen if you want. What does this say? Boom. That's what it says. Okay. And these are really good images too, so you don't have to zoom in that much. I'll keep mine around here. And this works anywhere. So if I want to see a card in my hand, I will do this. And again, your hand is always perpetually at the bottom of your screen. I always just kind of move around back to look at my hand. It's a bad habit. So if I'm over here, you can look at your hand and see what that is. And again, I'm going to zoom in. I don't know if this saves across games. I don't think it does. So if you need to zoom in like I do, you just have to do it at once. It will save for the game, but once you close and re-enter, it's going to reset. So just be aware of that. Okay, anyways, I'm going to tap. So I'm going to tap him, and it says portal another target wanderer to another realm. So let's say they have an enemy here. In fact, let's go ahead and get a deck out for this player. And let's say they have an enemy here. That's the land. Here we go. There's an enemy. And probably a good one that they put out on turn 1. So I want to portal that to realm 2 for some reason. So I'm going to portal it over here. Generally, it's good sportsmanship not to grab other people's cards. So I would just say, I'm going to tap Sylvari. It is a tap action, so it does take an action. So I'm going to make sure to take my action off. And I'm going to say, I'm going to portal your Forgotten Draugr to realm 2. Okay, and I'm going to let them grab their card and move it over. Just like in real life, I wouldn't grab other players' cards. I would just, say, hey, I'm going to take him and move him over here. And by the way, you can't see it here, but you can see each other's hands. So if I point to him and say, I'm going to move him to realm 2, he's going to see me doing this shaking stuff with my hands. This is also good if someone's thinking. You can kind of like wave your hands, kind of like waving your hand in front of their face and say like, hello, you still there? You thinking? Right? Don't be a jerk and say it like that. But anyways. All right. And all right, so let's continue. I got 3 energy, and maybe I want to play Word of Serendipity. So I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to use an action and 3 energy, and I'm going to play Word of Serendipity in realm 2. And let's say on their next turn they play a spell. So hey, okay, cool. You played a spell. I'm going to discard a card. I'm going to discard Zephyrus because that's not really needed until the end of the game. So I'm going to discard, counter their spell, boom, done, right? Just like that. Just like I would in a normal match, I'm going to pull cards, take cards, whatever I need. All right. And for my last action, I'm going to play Kairos Mistral in realm 2 because I can play him for free. Boom. And maybe they take the stone, so I don't have to worry about that. Tap free, stun target wonder. I'll do that on my next turn. All right, so now that's the end of round 2. Round 2. Now we're going to go to round 3. We're going to pull out a stone, and we're going to draw for turn. And I'm going to look at what I got, and then I'm going to do 3 actions. It's round 3, so we get 3 energy, plus I own a stone, so we get 4 energy. They won the last battle, so they actually should have the first player token, and we'll continue playing. All right, a couple of wonder-specific things. All right, you'll notice there are counters here on the realms, and I am terrible with this, as you saw. I don't use these just because I'm used to playing in person, so I just don't think about these being here. But other folks swear by them, and they usually won't let you forget. These are typically used as power counters, so I will put however much power I have in a realm, I will count it here. So this has 3 power, so I want to do 3. This has 2 power, and this has Horde 1. Ooh, it actually, they have +2 counters, so that's perfect. So It did have 1 power. Now that it has Horde 1, it says on attack, put 2 +1 counters on this. Okay, my daughter came in the room and now I forgot where I was. So I might be repeating myself, but we've got Forgotten Draugr here. So he says on attack, Horde 1, put 2 +1 counters on this. So let's say my opponent goes ahead and attacks, even though he's losing 1 power to 2 power, as we can see here, when he attacks. So before the battle is over, but when he attacks, he gets 2 +1 counters. For counters, we've got these bags over here off to the side. These are all different kinds of counters. Let's go ahead and talk about those right now. In this bag here, we've got plus and minus tokens. Well, that are also counters, okay? So he gets +2, so he's attacking, so he gets +2 counters. And a good player will put +2 on here. So now he's attacking with 3 power to 2 power. If he didn't already have the stone, now he has it now. So these are counters. If you flip these over, you'll see it says -1. Now we've got -1 counters. He would actually be dead. So let's say there was one -1 counter. Now he'd be at 0 power. Actually, sorry about that. He would actually, that was my bad math. He is actually at, well, no, +2 counters. He's 3. Okay, anyways. So here he would have 2 power. Here he would actually have 0 power. He'd be dead. But okay, that's... My math is no good. I went to public school. All right. Anyways, so that's how counters work. A little tip here. I think these counters are way too small. So if you hover over the counter, you can press and hold the plus button, and it actually makes it go bigger. So now I know that this is bigger. If something gives me multiple counters, let's say I'm going to put 5 counters on it. I don't want to go here and grab 5 counters and then make them all bigger. If I have a counter that I like, I'm just going to Control-C, Control-V, and that will copy the counters on top. So now I've got 5 counters on here, but it's kind of hard to see. So what I like to do is, instead of counters, I like to do dice. So let me throw these around over here, and I like to do dice. Now, red is easy if it has like minus, right? Because red is bad. So like this would be, I would consider this -5 counters, or -5 tokens. However, you'll notice in the workshop, there are no green dice. I want some green dice. Well, what you can do inside of Tabletop Simulator is you can right-click on any... no, sorry, not right-click. What you can do inside of Tabletop Simulator is you can go to the top and go to Objects. And here's a bunch of pre-made components and objects that you can do to grab different things and put them in the game. So I'm going to go to Components, and you can grab different blocks, boards, cards, and all this stuff. There's a section for dice. And I'm going to go to plastic dice, and look here, I got green dice right here. So I can grab this, and now I can just say, hey, I have 5 counters. I'm going to hover over the die, click 5. Now I've got a green die on it to showcase that he's got +5 counters. So he's actually 6 power. Now maybe I put 2 -1 tokens. I'm going to grab a die here. So he's got 2 -1 tokens. Now he's a 4 power. Okay. It can get really crazy later in the game. So I like to use dice because you can't really tell, if I have, this gets pretty busy. If I have 5 tokens on here, even the smaller ones, right? If I have 5 of these and then 2 -1s, right? It's hard to tell what this is. That's where these counters can come into play, but I like to see exactly how many tokens. Also, a fun thing you can do, you can grab the card. You'll notice that the counters stay on it, but if I kind of wiggle it around a little bit, the tokens can fall off. So, kind of fun. I think if I flip it, tokens don't fall off. Interesting. But if I shake it around, the tokens usually fall off. I guess they made it better. There we go. Okay. Anyways, so I like to use the dice. So he gets +2. So now he's a 3 power. He takes the stone. Okay. Now maybe I tap to stun. Okay, so I'm going to tap free. I'm not going to spend an action, and I'm going to tap and stun him. There is no stun counter, but usually what I like to do is I'll just grab a generic token, and then I'll put it on the power to showcase that he's stunned. So that's just a reminder he's got 0 power right now. Well, he's still got +2 counters. All right. There are also protector counters. There are shield counters. That's the difference. There's the generic counters I showed you. There's the null counters. And again, this is real easy to miss So I will blow this up, and it's very obvious, hey, this card is nullified, right? And the cool thing is if I, well, I thought it would, okay, if I pick it up and tap it, that null counter stays in the same spot. If I just tap it, it doesn't. So just keep that in mind. I like to keep the null counter on the card text, so that way I know that it's nullified. We've also got tokens. If I have something that brings out tokens and I don't have a token deck, I can do that. And then we've also got symbiosis. So let's say they have something symbiosis did. Let's pretend this is an emerald clearing. Okay, I can put a symbiosis counter on it and say it's symbiosed with my land over here. This kind of helps link them so I remember what is symbiocide. Is that a word? All right. And then play can continue until you're done. Okay. And then once you know the winner, you'll know the winner. You'll have all the stones on your side. Believe that's most of everything of what you need to get started with Wonders. Now let me go into how to make your own deck. Actually, before I show you how to make your deck, let me show you one more thing. It's really a game saver. Game saver. If I accidentally make a mistake, like for example, hit this fun little flip table button up here. This is one of the most needed, unnecessary. Yes, I made up that oxymoron. It's the most unnecessarily needed feature in a game. I can click this button and it's going to double check. Are you sure you want to flip the table? Yes. I can flip the table into infinity. It's a fun thing to do at the end of the game, but let's say for whatever reason you accidentally flipped the table, or you accidentally made a move, or maybe you made a wrong move in chess and you're trying to, like, where were we? You've got this rewind button. It's not an undo button. Okay, it doesn't undo your automatic last move because it's a simulator. You're not being held to certain constraints. But what it can do is rewind time. So I'm going to go back 10 seconds, and boom, the board state is as it was 10 seconds ago. I can go back another 10 seconds, and let's go back 60 seconds. This slider is 10 seconds at a time, I believe, which we already did 20 seconds. So now we'll go another 40 seconds to make it a minute. You'll notice the tokens are gone. So it's as the board state was. I believe it saves every 10 seconds. I don't know if there's an option to change that. But if you ever make a mistake, you can go back in time to correct it. Okay. There are also, let's go ahead and talk about these other things. There's some things at the top. You can go and from here and just go ahead and upload or start other games. You can save. So for example, let's say we stop this game in the middle. We want to go back. We want to finish it later. So we can go to games, save, and you can see all of my saves here, but you can just save it, demo, save game. And we're going to save it not in a folder. We'll just save it in the root. We'll call it Wonders of the First Demo Save. Okay. And then when I come back and open it up, I can see Wonders of the First Demo, and I can load the game from right here. So this is great if you want to continue on later. You can control the music. It has a music player. I never use it, but you can add music. There's a notebook to take notes. I believe this is shared. So you can actually, these are players. So I'll show you when we do multiplayer. Every player has a book, and then there's a shared notebook. I am, for example, the white player. You can tell here by my name is in white. So I am the white player, and these are my notes. All right. Blue player has their own notes, etc., etc. Okay. Let's see here. We talked about objects. You can grab different objects. There are the options. You can do multiple different options. I won't go into those. That's more advanced. Modding, if you want to do some modding. I don't know what this button does. I'm not even going to click it. All right. And then you can go into menu, where you can go into configuration and all that and set all your specific things. I recommend turning the main menu volume down because that can get annoying real quick. All right. And then there's lift height. You can change how high. So for example, you can see if I press and hold this, it lifts it up about an inch. I can change that, and I can get stronger, and it lifts it up like 4 inches, right? So I like to just keep that the same. And then we talked about rotations. All right. Oh man, I keep thinking of more and more things to talk about. So let's do this. First of all, if you like this video, click the like button. If you don't like this video, double click the unlike button, just so I know extra sure that you didn't like this video. Okay, so now let's talk about making your own deck, and then we'll talk about getting into the multiplayer part of it. So I have a video I will link in the top right on the Wonders of the First Codex. That's where you can build your own deck or find other people's decks. I'm not going to go into it too detailed right now. I'm going to go into the Codex and I'm going to sign in real quick. Okay, so I'm signed into the Codex, and if I want to build a deck, I can build a deck, and again, go click on that link in the top right that I just had. I'll have it in the description down below. Or if I want to experiment with someone else's deck. For example, I see Crystal Mouse, this is Grixis, Reanimate. Here we go. I want to play a Reanimate deck. It's an expensive deck too. What I can do is I can click the 3 dots on the top right and say copy TTS code. Okay, and this will allow me to go to Tabletop Simulator, and let's go ahead and start a fresh game. And what I can do is I can come over here to this section right here. See where it says insert TTS code? I'm going to click in here, and I'm going to paste whatever is on the clipboard. Okay, I'm going to say import deck, and it will automatically build that Reanimate deck. There we go. I got a little link here, deck generation complete. And now I can pull this deck off, put it here. I'm going to unsnap it because that's generally what we do every time. And now I've got this cool Reanimate deck. I'm going to search it, and all the cards that are in it are in here, and I can see the cards. And again, I can press and hold the control button to see a larger preview of the cards. And now I can play with this deck. So I'm going to shuffle it, draw 7. All right, I got some lands, power 3, shock a ball. This is a great starting hand. And now I can start playing with this deck. Same thing if I... oh, that was a button I didn't show you. If you have a bunch of cards in hand, you can click and drag to select multiple cards. And you can press G to get them all together. Or, say this is my hand, you can shake your hand and put multiple items together as well. Boom. There you go. So that was a little thing I meant to show you earlier. There's so much you can do in this. I appreciate you guys hanging with me. All right. So that's how you can bring in a deck. You can bring in your own deck. So if I want to bring in my own deck, I'll go to My Decks. I'll go to the USA deck that I made. And I will copy TTS code. Go back to Tabletop Simulator. And I will select all. Import this deck. And there we go. My USA deck is here. And yep, there's good old Thorwing Thunderbeak. All right, cool. So that's how you can bring in your own decks or community decks into Tabletop Simulator. Last thing I'm going to show you is how to start a multiplayer game and invite your friends. So let me go back to the menu and we'll go back into how that works. Hooey, you guys are champions for sticking with me in this video for so long. So now you know how to get Tabletop Simulator on your computer. You know how to get the Wonders of the First Workshop on the Tabletop Simulator. You know how to jump into a game. You just go to Create, go to Single Player, and do Wonders of the First Workshop. And now you're in here. You can create your deck on the Codex or just use one of the pre-made decks. You know how to start drawing cards and mulligan and do all the things. Now let's talk about how to actually play with friends. So if you're comfortable enough or you find someone on the Discord you want to play with, here's how you can set up a game for others to join or how to join a game that's already in progress. So let me go back to the main menu and go into how to start a game. So to give you a better idea, I think it's actually easier for me to show you how to join a game, and that way you know when you're creating a game kind of what that system looks like. So on the home screen of Tabletop Simulator, which by the way, reminder, mute that main menu music because it gets annoying to me, I think. Go to join. This is how you can join a game. Okay, you're going to go to join. So let's say that you're playing me. I've created the game. Now you have to join my game. You'll click on join and you can see the server browser and it's going to load up all the public games that are being played right now in Tabletop Simulator. And so we can see, I'm going to organize by game. Someone's playing Gaia Project. Someone's playing Root. A couple of folks are playing 40K. A lot of people are playing Age of Sigmar. Wow, that's impressive. I wonder if there's a tournament going on. Some people are playing Arkham Horror. That's a fun game. I love that game on Tabletop Simulator. Some people are playing chess. All right, and then players, you can see the player count. So for example, If I wanted to, I'm a little introverted. I don't want to go into someone's game. But it says 2 out of 8. So chess is a 2-player game, but there are up to 8 people can join this game to watch, to spectate. I can't play. I probably won't be able to move around their pieces, but I can join the game. If I want to join a game, I'm going to click on it and I'm going to click connect. Okay. And there's the password. Okay. So they set a password. So you'll see here that when we set up a room, you can set up a password so not anyone can join. I don't know if I can, hide locked. So these are the games that I can join publicly. So let's see here. Someone's playing Sorcery. Someone's playing Splendor. Someone's playing Warhammer, Pokemon. Yeah, let's just jump in the Splendor game. Okay, so I'm going to say connect. And it's going to connect and it's going to load the game for me to watch. And it'll probably start showing. It'll say that I joined. I'm just watching. Okay. But you can see here that they are playing the game. You can see their hands moving around the tabletop. And again, this is an app that you can download on mobile, but you're getting the actual tabletop experience watching them play the game. So if you know the Splendor game, this is actually really well done. And I can choose a seat. So I'm going to choose the blue seat and it's going to set me up over here. And I got a spot at the table. I'm not playing, but you can see them here. They're probably on a different voice chat because I don't hear them talking, which is fine. I think that's actually preferable. But you can see their hands moving. You can see where they're going. They're obviously communicating, so you can see where each other's are. So you can also track if someone accidentally bumps a card, they can, see who's moving those cards. Okay. So let me jump out of here. And every time I jump to the main menu, my screen share breaks, but I'm going to show you to leave the room. I'm going to click on menu and just go to main menu. Okay. So now that you see how to join a game, I think it makes more sense now when you create a game, the different options that are available. So when you go to create, here's how you create your Wonders of the First tabletop simulator game. You're going to go to create and you can do multiplayer or you can do hot seat. Hot seat's, I think, really good when you're playing by yourself. It's really for if you're playing at one person. If you're going to play with someone online, you want to do multiplayer. So I'm going to click multiplayer and now you get these options. You can give it a server name. I usually do a combination of the player name. So I just played J on the Discord server. So I called it American J, but you can call it whatever you want. We'll say Wonders Demo Room. All right. And now you can select the server type. You can do it public, where it's open to anyone to join. You can do friends, which is you have to be friends on Steam in order for them to join, or invite, where you have to personally invite someone with a link. Usually we just leave these set up. And if you want to lock who you want to join, you'll do a server password. You can do something like 1, 2, 3, 4, but if you really don't want someone joining, do it something that's not 1, 2, 3, 4. Because a lot of people pick that and then you end up with random people. All right. And then max players. So if you just want you and your friend in the room, no one else can jump in to spectate. Do 2. All right. But usually when you play in the Coliseum, you want other people to be able to join. Maybe you need a judge. I like to just do 8. And then you'll say create server. So when you create the server, that's where someone else can go click join and find your server. So for example, Wonders Demo Room. So if I was the other player, I would go join and then I can search Wonders Demo Room. Obviously there's no room that says that, so it's not going to show up, but that's how you would join a room. Okay. So again, I'm going to create multiplayer. We'll create the server and I will say Wonders of the First official and load. All right. And then someone else can go find me in the server room. They'll click join. They'll search for the server. They'll enter the password and then they'll join. Okay. Now, once they join, it'll ask them to pick a spot. You can see here, I can invite friends. Hopefully they don't mind me showing their screen names there. But they'll be able to pick a spot. So when they jump in, it'll ask where do they want to sit. Usually the other person will sit here in this spot and it'll look something like this. It'll say, where do you want to sit? Now, obviously they'll sit in the blue spot. Click the blue button and you will sit on this side of the table. Now, this is where you can come in and import your deck or grab the deck that you want to play with. You'll sit over here, put your deck down, shuffle, draw your cards, and play your game while the other person sits on the other side. All right. And they'll play their game over here. Now, if it brings you in and it sits you at a weird table, like for example, yellow, I don't want to be the yellow player. I want to be the blue player. You go up to your name, click on your name and say change color, and then you'll click the blue player. Now you're back in the right seat. Okay. You can also change team and all that good stuff. There's stuff about promotion, but that's a little bit outside of this tutorial. The last thing I'm going to show you is these sidebars. We don't use this too much inside of the Wonders game, but a couple options that you have here. So you've got a draw, so you can actually draw on the thing. I don't know why you would want to draw, but you can. So let me grab the pen tool, and I can draw. Not sure why you would want to do that. You can just do the eraser to erase, or you can just erase all drawn lines. Don't really need that in Wonders. You also have zones you can select. There's a line. So sometimes you might say, okay, I'm going to link this here. This is more for like tabletop gaming or showing that you're connecting things, but it doesn't really matter. You'll notice the color is matched to your player color. So I'm blue, so all of my stuff is going to be blue. I'm not sure if there's a way to change that. There's also a flick button. Yes, you can play Twiddly Winks or whatever those are called here. So I can flick this. Somehow I can flick this. There we go. Kind of like you're playing pool. Boom. Okay. I'm not sure what these other ones do. You can write some text here, so you can make a note to yourself. Note. All right. Not sure what gizmos are. Not sure what decals are. You can also point to different things. But anyways, the other thing I'll show you is sometimes you want to point to a specific card. So for example, let's say I have multiple lands in play. Maybe both of these are Fortress Brightstones. Let's put 2 Fortress Brightstones in play. And I'm like, I want to do this one, right? Sometimes you're like, no, which one? I don't know. Which realm 1? There's 2 in realm 1s. Which one are you tapping? Press the tab key, and that will put an arrow on top of something. So if I have Fortress Brightstone, I could go over here and grab, I'm going to tap this one. But again, you don't want to grab other players' cards. So you can just press the tab key. That will add an arrow on top. A little bouncing arrow. Nice little indicator of which one you want to tap. All right. So now you know how to download Steam and get Tabletop Simulator. You know how to get the Wonders app workshop on Tabletop Simulator. You know how to control the cards, manipulate the cards. You know how to create a room, join a room. Now you've got everything you need to play Wonders of the First with other players. Call up a friend and invite them on. Create decks in the Codex. Link down below on how to do that. You can find me on the Discord. I am American Texan. I believe it's 13. Yes, I am American Texan 13 on the Discord. Hey, let's use this notebook now. At American Texan 13. So you can find me and say, hey, I want to play my first game. I will be happy to play your first game. I'll tell you this, though. I'm a family man. I work a day job. I take care of the kids. My wife works shifts at the hospital. So, most of the time I can only play after 9 o'clock at night, Central Time. And weekends are really by appointment. But if we can work out a game, let's work out a game. I'd love to show you more about the game, introduce you to some things, and help you learn the ropes for Tabletop Simulator. So if you like this video, like this video. If you didn't like this video, double tap that dislike button. And if you want to see more Wonders content, I'm trying to get out 3 Wonders videos a week, from lore to how to play the game to my favorite cards to let's just talk about Wonders and nerd out. And if you like comics, you like to read comics or collect comics, I also do content about that, but you can just show up for the Wonders content. Thank you guys for watching. I know this video was long, but I wanted it to be comprehensive. Don't feel bad about watching this multiple times. If you have any questions, shoot me a message on the Discord as well. I'm happy to answer it for you. And if there's certain features that I missed, leave them down below. Or if you want to know how to do something specific, leave the question down below. If I get enough questions, I'll create a part 2, maybe like an advanced Wonders tutorial video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Adios.